Before we get into this Reddit thread, we are going to talk about what is negging. Not everybody knows what negging is, so I found this very bright graphic. What is negging? It is the art of insulting your way to love. Negging is a manipulative tactic used by some people to undermine the confidence of their romantic interests. It involves giving backhanded compliments or insults disguised as compliments with the aim of making the recipient feel insecure and vulnerable. Common uses and an example. To gain power and control over a romantic interest, an example. You're pretty for a girl who doesn't wear makeup. To lower the self esteem of a person in order to make them more susceptible to advances. You're smart, but you could be so much more if you dressed better. To appear more attractive by making others feel less attractive. An example, you have a great personality, but you could lose a few pounds. Negging is a toxic behavior that can lead to emotional abuse and should be avoided at all costs. In healthy relationships, partners should uplift each other, not tear each other down. Remember, love should never be based on manipulation or power dynamics. If somebody is using one of these tactics, it is a tactic. A tactic is not a good way, a good first beginning to start any kind of romance. So leave a person alone once they start negging. Now let's get to this Reddit thread. So this Reddit was posted in the 2X chromosome subreddit. She says, my date called me ugly as a joke. I don't know what to think or feel. You think or feel that he was being an a-hole and run, period. That's all we should know. But let's read the post. She says, I went on a blind date today with a guy, K. We had seen a photo of each other and were set up by friends. When I turned up, Kay told me he'd been so excited to see me in person and that I was so stunning in the photos my friend showed him. Then he turns 180 and goes, what Facetune filters did you use? And something about thin lips. I was really uncomfortable and don't use face editing apps for personal reasons. I suffer with BDD and find it very triggering. I don't really like my face, but the photos did look like me. I kind of got sad, and he backtracked saying he was joking and I was attractive in person too. My sister told me I'm far too sensitive and that he was just trying to joke around. He wants a second date, but I didn't like how that comment made me feel. The rest of the night was nice. Am I being too sensitive or should I try again? Edit. I realized one other thing about this comment that bothered me. It wasn't just a put down on me. Of course, some women use filters. We live in a society where we're showing perfect women 24/7. He put down not just me, but any women who uses filters to feel pretty. I felt icky having that be part of his insult too. They do use triangulation, they use comparison, and it's all terrible. It is not a good way to showcase who you are and why a person should want to go on a date with you. It's a terrible first impression. All right, some of the comments. Khaleesi says early dating is an audition to see if you like somebody. Do you like spending time around people who insult you for laughs? I don't. Neither do I. This person says, adding that this sounds like negging, hard pass. It absolutely does. This person towards the bottom was talking about negging. She says it's super, super gross. Negging is intended not only to diminish someone's feeling of self worth, so they'll think that they are your only prospect, as mentioned above, is to get them to work to prove that they are indeed worthy. If you want a rabbit hole that'll make you angry, but is also good and maybe even important to know the tactics so you don't fall for them, look up the pickup artist. Absolutely. And it's not even just the pickup artist because the manosphere and the red pill talking points basically are saying this stuff. Insult her a little bit so she works just a little bit harder to prove herself to you. And that's the reason why I say stop looking for head pats from them because they will always attempt to keep you off kilter. This person says, ew, yeah, fast forward to a relationship where you're having to field bad taste jokes at your expense. No thanks. Absolutely. If he's doing this on the first date, which is like an audition, he is getting you comfortable to accepting terrible behavior. Don't accept this. This person says he seems very trashy. I'm sensitive too, and that comment would be stuck in my head for a while. My first immediate reaction would be to reconsider if I actually did look worse in person but it really should be to recognize that it speaks negatively about him as a person. And with that, I will leave it there. Leave these men alone that come out the gate mean spirited. They are not worth your time. They are not worth your stress level. Leave them alone. So this is an interesting Am I the A-hole thread. She says, am I the a-hole for suggesting an open marriage since my husband won't have SMICs and begs me not to divorce him? She says, my husband, 48, and I, 46, have been married for well over 20 years. Our youngest left the house 8 months ago, so it's just the two of us left. I would have expected our SMICs life to get better. I don't have a high SMICs drive, but once a week or twice a week is good with me. I haven't had snacks for 6 to 7 months. I have spoken to my husband about this, but he usually doesn't want to do any actual physical SE actual activity. He asked me for a B job, but doesn't want to give. Throughout our marriage, it was fine, but these last few months have consisted of this. I have spoken to him multiple times about this, and the only thing he said is that he's tired or that he just doesn't feel up to it. It's ruined my self esteem. I'm getting older and I don't look the same as I did years ago. She says, I finally got fed up about this. I was honest and told him it was ruining my self esteem and making me insecure about myself and my age, and he didn't even care. He said, everyone gets older and they just don't want to have smecks that much anymore, and just switched the subject. After so many attempts of trying to speak to him about this, and him just brushing it off, I brought up divorce. He begged me to not bring it up, that he needs me in his life and we've been together for this long and there's no point of divorce. I told him that he can't just leave me around with no intimacy and expect me to be fine with it. I finally brought up the idea of an open marriage and he immediately refused. He told me he couldn't ever see me with another man. It was back and forth until I just gave up. I don't know if I was a horrible person for even bringing this up, but I feel miserable here. Am I the a-hole? Number one, women have got to stop pegging our self-esteem to the validation of a man. Just stop. Stop doing this. Looking for external validation from somebody else will always leave you wanting more, especially when they can use it to manipulate you or get what they want in a relationship. Number two, what she is missing out on is a normal human function. She has spoken to him about it. He has the right to, he's not in the mood. He doesn't want to do anything. And that's his right. That's his right. But she has the right now to go and do what she wants to make herself happy. Their kids are out of the home. There is no way that she can live being miserable like this for too long. So she has communicated her needs. He has rebuffed her. So now she needs to decide, is she going to stay in this relationship or is she going to leave? It is up to her. But the way she is asking this question, it does not seem like she is ready to make that move. He says that he doesn't want to end the marriage because he just what is it? He needs me in his life. Not he loves me, but he needs me. He needs her to continue to support him in doing all of the things that wives do in a household. Not because he loves to be around her. She's such a great person. She's a great partner. She's so intellectual. Her hobbies are amazing. No, just because he needs her, and that's it. So I don't see this being something that is productive to living a long and full and happy and healthy lifestyle forever. And in this, I know people want to like say that you're supposed to be with this person forever. No, I don't believe in that. I don't believe that you stay where you are being unfulfilled forever. I don't believe in that. Divorce him, period. Now, for some of the comments, this person says, this is insane. 46 is actually so young for him to be giving up on your sex life. And this person says, honestly, he should just check his testosterone levels. It's not uncommon for big dips in men in their late 40s. Could be a pretty easy fix with treatment. So just putting that out there. This person said, this is a real thing. I'm 48 now. Around the time I turned 40, my energy level and SMEX drive just dropped off a cliff. I went through a lot of stress in my life and didn't realize I would go months and months without any interest in SMEX. Talked to my doc. naturopath who ran tests and started me on testosterone injections, and it did wonders for me. More energy, more SMEX drive. It lowered my cholesterol. My triglycerides went down by 75%. Is absolute magic for middle-aged men. There you go. There's some information you might not have known. If you know any men that seem to be struggling, send them to this information. Send them some information. Tell them to check their testosterone. All right, we're going to end it there. This woman is absolutely not the a-hole. She is looking for some balance. She's looking for some affection, some attention, and she's not getting it. I don't think she's the a-hole. You guys weigh in, like, comment, share. Y'all have got to see this. Am I the a-hole for refusing to date my brother's friend and costing him $10,000? Her brother was trying to sell her for $10,000 is basically how I'm reading this. Okay, so she's 22, her brother's 30, and the friend is 30. All right. She says, so my older brother has a wealthy friend. This friend comes from old money. Plus, they run a successful startup together. Over the last year or so, they've been expanding the business. I go to college and currently live with my parents and sister. I'm the least aware of my brother's business dealings out of the whole family. So typically, my parents or sister will let me know of any serious news. Well, apparently, there have been some financial mistakes, and my brother owed his friend $10,000. I didn't know all of the details until my brother came up to me one evening and said that I can help. He explained that his friend was willing to overlook the debt if I went on a few dates with him. I was pretty confused as to why I was thrust into this situation. I'm not even that well acquainted with his friend, and wanting to date me came out of nowhere. I immediately told my brother there's no way I'd date, aka sleep, with his friend just because he owes him money. The whole proposal made me feel really gross and cheap. He has been begging me for days to help out and that I'm his only ticket to clearing that $10,000. Even his friend reached out and the conversation made me feel really awkward. I feel like I'm being pimped out by my brother and treated like some object to clear his debt. Now, my brother, as well as my parents, are angry at me for not dating his friend. They said nobody expects me to have smex with the guy, so I should just go on the dates to help my brother and his reputation. They're saying that I'm very unsupportive and selfish. Am I the a-hole for not going along with the plan? She says, I didn't know where else to post this, but here's what my brother's friend texted me. And then she gave all the text messages. I'm going to show you those in just a second. She said, update. My sister and my guy friend are supporting me. I actually have a huge crush on my friend, so it feels good to know he has my back. But then again, I reckon any decent person would. I don't want to be around my family right now, so I'm going to spend a few days at my friend's place. Okay, for the creepy guy post. It says, you're disgusting and have no respect for people. Just because you have money, it doesn't mean that you're allowed to treat others this way. He says, I have the utmost respect for you. Blank is the one who has no respect for you. Don't you agree? She says, shut the F up and go find an escort if you want to buy Smex. He says, I don't need to buy Smex. I want you and have a hard time hearing no. I get temporary deafness, so you should reconsider. Why don't you give it a try? She says, no means no, you delusional, creepy MF. Listen, I can give you everything you need. She says, and what do I need? He says, pure bliss and pleasure, as much as you desire, in all the ways. You haven't experienced much pleasure in your life, I can tell. So I'm here to offer that to you. Stimulation overload, as much as you can handle in that body. And she says, laughing my butt off, you sound weird. Give some of that bliss to people who want it. He's like, nope, I'm unconcerned about consent. That's not typed there. He says, your own brother is willing to sell you for $10,000. Your parents seem fine with it too. Looks like no one cares about you, unfortunately. She says, you're a bad person, like really bad. He says, I'm a bad person for finding you attractive. She says, people are not toys you can buy just because you're wealthy. He says, well, you look like one. Adorable face with a womanly body, perfect lips, tits and hips. Looks like you were made just for me. And I have a weakness for exotic girls. She says, wow. Oh my, this one. But I'm normally not into poor girls. But yes, you're wow. Those eyes. I've always wanted to F a girl with heterochromia. I don't know what that is. I probably nut extra hard looking at those gorgeous eyes. Oh my goodness, gross. And that is the end of the text messages. But yeah, he's just basically saying that she's poor. Here's $10,000, and I'm not really worried about consent, and your family is perfectly fine with pimping you out. This sounds pretty terrible. All right, she ends with, can y'all stop telling me in DMs to sleep with my guy friend? Also, stop asking me to upload a pic of my eyes. It's really weird and makes me uncomfortable. Lord. Okay. So obviously, no, this girl is not the a hole. The family, the parents, and the brother are, and certainly the man sending these creepy text messages, totally are all a holes to her. This person says, if your brother wants the debt forgiven, he can F his buddy himself. Tell your brother to stop acting like your pimp. If you were going to sell your butt for $10,000, you would be keeping the 10 grand and not keep gifting it to your brother. Tell your parents they are free to F this dude to clear their little boy's debt as well. Oh, okay. I'm not going to do a lot of these, but the consensus is no, she's not an a hole. These are kind of funny though. How about a compromise? OP can lend her brother one of her outfits. And Tarzan Kitty says, seems fair enough to me. And this person says, throw in a makeup tutorial and it's more than fair. This person says, refusing to be treated as currency for your brother's debt is not selfish, it's self respect. Stand firm against manipulation and coercion. Absolutely. Basically, that's it. Her thoughts are already valid. She doesn't really need validation from us strangers, but no, she's not the a hole. Y'all can chime in though. Like, comment, share.